So, if you think this was just about fish, you've been watching the wrong channel. In 1992, Canada shut down its cod fishery. Just like that, centuries of tradition erased. The official story: overfishing, mismanagement, tragic ecological collapse. But if you were there, if you listened to the docks, the diners, the late night AM radio, you would hear something else. Something deeper, something fishier. They said the cod were gone, but the truth, the cod were taken by policy, by politics, and by profit. Small boat fishers, the lifeblood of Newfoundland's coast, were blamed. They were the scapegoats. Meanwhile, industrial trawlers, massive corporate-backed vessels, had been vacuuming the ocean floor like it was cheat-coded. Scientists warned this was unsustainable, but their reports were buried deeper than a Tamagotchi in a junk drawer. Then came the quotas. The government handed them out like pogs at a school dance, but only to the big players. The little guys ghosted. The cod weren't just a species, they were a currency, and that currency got privatized. To distract the public, mercury became the new villain. Don't eat cod, they said. It's toxic. But behind the scenes, swordfish and tuna were lobbying for shelf space. The seafood aisle became a battleground. Cod was labeled obsolete, and one leaked memo even called it the Betamax of fish. And while all this played out, indigenous fishers asserted their treaty rights. They set traps. They sold catch. The government responded with raids, arrests, and legal gymnastics. Lobster wars erupted, boats were rammed, traps were torched. It was Mad Max Fury Reef, and the cod were the silent witnesses. This wasn't just an ecological collapse, it was a cultural gutting. Cod were the backbone of a people, the rhythm of a coast, the unsung heroes of fish sticks and Friday dinners. Their disappearance wasn't just about biomass, it was about identity. And here's the kicker. The science was there. The warnings were clear, but the narrative was spun. The collapse became a convenient excuse to restructure the industry, consolidate power, and rewrite the rules of the sea. So, if you think this was just about fish, you've been watching the wrong channel. Next time on the Aquatic News Network, we crack open the reef files. Are octopuses running the show? Are they smarter than we think? Stay skeptical. Stay submerged. Last time on Aquatic News Network, we saw a dolphin unionize, a crab win a mayoral race, and a manatee get banned from TikTok. But today, we're headed inland, where a pond, once golden, is now gasping like a dial-up modem in a thunderstorm. Welcome to Queens, New York, home of Golden Pond, known to locals as Turtle Pond. Once a 7-foot deep aquatic haven, now a shallow bowl of sludge and nostalgia. Local citizen scientist Amelia McKinney spent 7 weeks testing local water quality for her Girl Scout Gold Award. What she found is that the pond is flatter than a burned CD, sediment stacked like pancakes, and oxygen levels that are lower than your Tamagotchi's self-esteem. McKinney's DIY science setup included test tubes, a kayak, and a Bronx Science hoodie. She revealed a pond in peril, with depth readings showing a 94% loss since the 1960s. That's not a pond, it's a puddle with a PR team. Turtles stranded and geese honking like it's rush hour, and the legendary eel, dubbed Old Slippy by locals, has been lurking here since Windows XP was cutting edge. Old Slippy's seen it all, but now he's gasping like he just ran the Bronx Zoo stairs. The algae blooms are thick, the oxygen's thin, and the vibe? Terminal. Flash floods pour in from nearby streets. A broken retaining wall lets sediment flow like bad vibes at a middle school dance, and the city's response? It's relatively healthy. Oh, that's like saying your floppy disk still works after it's been microwaved. McKinney's data showed otherwise. This message was brought to you by the Department of Aquatic SAS and VHS Nostalgia. Operators are standing by, but they're turtles, so be patient. McKinney's calling for dredging, infrastructure repair, and real ecological monitoring. Her grassroots science is louder than any press release, and she's got the data to back it up. This isn't just pond drama, it's a preview of what happens when we ghost our ecosystem. Gold Pond is a microcosm of climate neglect wrapped in duckweed and denial. From Queens to the Bronx, from VHS to HD, this has been your Aquatic News Network. Stay weird, stay wet, and remember, if the pond's gasping, the planet's next. Welcome back. Today we travel to a place where the river doesn't just run, it remembers. Where gravel isn't just sediment, it's sacred. Where the bridge isn't just steel and concrete, it's a monument to migration, memory, and the mythic pulse of the Pacific Northwest. This is Vernita Bridge, and this is its final fall. For generations, anglers have made their pilgrimage to this stretch of the Columbia River, drawn not by sport alone, but by something older, something deeper, a rhythm etched into the bones of the land and the blood of the fish. They came with trailers that rattled like tin can time machines, with tackle boxes passed down like family Bibles, with stories that grew longer each year like the shadows cast by a bridge at dusk. They came to meet the Chinook, the Fall Kings, fish forged in salt and memory, returning upstream to the gravel beds of their birth. Their journey was a miracle, and the people who gathered to witness it, they were part of the ritual. Campfires flickered like votive candles. Coffee brewed in dented percolators. Children learned to cast beside elders who spoke in whispers, as if afraid to disturb the river's ancient song. It was messy. It was beautiful. It was tradition. But tradition, like water, carves and erodes. This year, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife announced the end of camping at Vernita Bridge. October 15th will mark the final season. The gravel bar, once a cathedral of connection, will fall silent. Why? Because the ritual left a footprint, and the footprint became a scar. Erosion chewed at the riverbank like a hungry ghost, trash piled up like broken promises, sanitation systems buckled under the weight of nostalgia and neglect. The salmon, once welcomed like royalty, now returned to a spawning ground littered with beer cans and plastic wrappers. Their nursery had become a tailgate, their sacred gravel parking lot. And so the state stepped in, not to erase the past, but to protect the future, to give the river room to breathe, to let the salmon dance without dodging lawn chairs, and to remind us that reverence means responsibility. Some mourn the loss, they say the magic is gone, but maybe the magic was never in the tents or the tackle. Maybe it was in the silence between casts, in the hush of dawn when the river shimmered like a reel of forgotten film. In the moment a child felt the tug of a fish and the weight of a story. The salmon will still run, the river will still whisper, but the gravel bar will be quiet. And maybe that's okay. Maybe it's time for a new kind of ritual. One that leaves no trace. One that listens more than it speaks. One that understands that the best catch isn't always a fish. It's a future. From the Aquatic News Network, I'm Tommy, reminding you that rivers remember everything. Salmon don't spawn in styrofoam, and the most sacred places are the ones we protect. Stay buoyant, cast with care, and if you go to Vernita Bridge, go with reverence.